Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
I'm doing well. This is episode 178, Brian.
Wow, 178. Huh.
The march towards 200 continues.
Ooh, I know.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening at 200, but...
Yeah, we're going to bring everyone into the city square and give away free money. And where is the Batman?
Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, 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 money. Who do you love? So, how have you been? I mean, I just talked to you a couple days ago. We watched The Karate Kid.
Yes, and it's been a pretty busy week, so I haven't been able to watch much. But I will say, more so than some episodes, I feel like I've had a lot of people check in with me about the Karate Kid commentary and tell me how much they enjoyed it, which is, I mean, you know, we say this all the time. We record these things and put them out in the world, and we have no idea what happens, and we move on. And just receiving that feedback was really... it meant a lot. It meant a lot. So thank you to everyone who listened and took the time to say that they appreciated it.
Well, and I would imagine that has more to do with how beloved that film is.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, no. And I did talk to a friend of mine who had never seen The Karate Kid.
Oh, wow.
And she said that listening to it and how enthusiastic we were about it made her want to watch it.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, after recording our commentary, I ended up watching the movie again with my kids, and they were like, put on the second one. So I watched the second one right after, which I had not seen in a little while. And yeah, it's a good movie.
Okay, yeah, because we mentioned that during the commentary that this was making us want to revisit it. And that's definitely still true for me. I haven't been able to yet. But so it's still, I guess I was a little worried that it wasn't going to be as fun or good as I remembered. Well, yeah, I loved it as a kid.
It's weird because it has like a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. And so I was like, is this like my Home Alone 2 where like... Right. You know? But I watched it and I was like, I don't know. It seems fine to me. Like it was weird. I didn't look at the reviews, but I was kind of... You know, I think it does a good job of carrying the story forward where it doesn't feel like a retread of the first one, you know?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they go to Okinawa, and it's just a whole change of scenery. But yeah, the whole plot is different. I mean, it's Miyagi and an old friend of his, right, who are now enemies. And it's not like... And there is a face-off, of course, at the end, because you have to. But it's not like a rematch between Johnny and Daniel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and Brian, I guess I can say this. After we got off and we were waxing nostalgic about all the old Karate Kid merch and whatever, I was like, Brian's birthday's coming up. I'm gonna go on eBay and see if I can find a Karate Kid action figure.
Aw.
And so I got online and it's like mint on card Daniel $270. I was like, well,
Ooh.
I don't like Brian that much.
Yeah. You know what? Just the thought alone is enough of a present for me. That's really sweet. Thank you. I've done that too, where I had this Inspector Gadget doll that really meant a lot to me when I was a kid. And I even told my parents, as a little kid, I said if the house burned down, like that was the thing I was going to grab. I think I even said I wanted to be buried with it or something.
Oh, wow.
And since it got lost through the years, and I every now and then I go on eBay to look at it, and it's always like, $300, $400, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, there's like a line where, nostalgia will only get you so far. Nostalgia doesn't fill your gas tank.
It's fun enough just to see the box again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So speaking of nostalgia over toys, I finally saw Toy Story 4, Brian.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
So this one, yeah, you were quite, you were quite over the moon over this one.
Yeah.
So finally, like a week ago, they have like cheap ticket Tuesdays at AMC.
Okay.
So
I don't have one near me, so.
Well, that's a thing that they have, right?
Yeah.
You need to move.
I do, so I can get a list.
Yeah, exactly. So my wife was like, I want to see Toy Story 4. I was like, well, I want to see it too. So we got all the kids, and we were like, hey, let's take the baby, my daughter, she's like 2.5 now. It's time. It wasn't time.
I was wondering. Okay.
The 2.5 is too young.
Sure. Just in terms of attention span, or
Yeah, she got like fidgety,
yeah,
She was not. She sat there for a while, but after a while, she's like wanting to go for a walk and doing all this stuff. So,
sure.
That experiment ended in that's a negatory. But the film itself, oh my goodness,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I'll just say this. I think you said this, that you rolled a tear or two at the end of that film.
Yes, for sure.
And that was me too.
Right? I mean, I think even before we go into the fact that we liked it, you need to be reminded that this was a sequel no one thought we needed.
Yes.
Right?
And, I would say we still didn't need it, quote unquote.
Right. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was a perfect trilogy. They told a completely rounded out story. And so it was with a little skepticism that I walked into this one. And yeah, you don't necessarily need it, but I thought of it as this perfect little epilogue.
Yes.
And it was, and to me, a worthy epilogue that closed the story even a little further and in a completely surprising, satisfying way.
Yeah. So, Brian, I want to talk some spoilers a little bit, so maybe we can do like a mini spoiler warning here.
Sure.
Hi, this is Brian from the future. If you haven't seen Toy Story 4 and want to avoid spoilers, I'd recommend skipping ahead to about 11 minutes and 42 seconds. See you on the other side. Spoilers now.
So the film ends, and you realize that they are not just ending the movie, they are ending the story. The Toy Story is over.
Yes.
And there was something very jarring about that. And I think part of that, because watching it with my kids, like, they liked it, but I don't know that they reacted to the ending the same way I did, and I'm presuming you did.
Yeah, I think life experience definitely applies to understanding the emotions at play.
Yeah, so I mean, they Steve Rogers Woody, basically, right?
Yeah.
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 He stays behind, and I think worth pointing out. I've seen some conversation online. People are like, oh, there was no sense that he was in love with Bo Peep and all that, and I'm like, no, it wasn't about Bo Peep. It was about Andy.
Mm-hmm.
He never got over Andy, and this was him realizing it was okay to move on. It didn't have to be about Andy or trying to make Bonnie be like Andy.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to think of him, right? But for me, when he says goodbye to Buzz,
Yep.
and there's that sense like they are never going to see each other again.
Yeah.
I started crying.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
the cowboy toy and the astronaut toy weren't going to be in the same closet anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's so surprising too. I mean, it's not like you even feel the moment coming. I mean, this is what I said when I talked about it earlier, is that Pixar, they've had their hits and misses.
Yes.
But when they have their hits, they are just operating on another level. And I found this ending surprising. I didn't see this coming, that this would be the end of Woody and Buzz.
Yes.
But it just, it felt okay. And
yes.
Not only did it feel okay, but I completely was on track with it. And like, I responded the same way you did.
Yeah. So very poignant. And I think it comes from our real world 24 years that we've spent with these characters.
Yes. Yes.
Thinking of them as inseparable, right? And so that makes it more meaningful, because at that point you can relate it to your own personal experience, you know? I mean, I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking of Sean. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of God forbid, that moment where I'm like, I'm not going to see you guys again. And it makes me cry.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what these Pixar guys are just so damn good at. Mm-hmm. Is making, like, not even so much unleashing your inner child, but using a child's story to unleash your inner adult.
Yeah. I mean, these are feelings you can. That's why when you mention your kids, like, it reminds me of that feeling of leaving for college or something.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, like, you're leaving friends in a way you never have before, and you very well may visit them again, or you may not.
Yeah.
You don't know, and that it's sort of that kind of a uncertain goodbye.
I mean, it's, you know, the opening sequence of Up, right?
Uh-huh.
That, I mean, obviously, kids cannot respond to that the same way adults can and will. So it's that level of just, you're going to engage in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
Another kids
I'm so
movie.
happy that it worked for you.
Oh my gosh, dude! It was well worth the wait.
Yeah.
I also watched Dora and the Lost City of Gold, which I had mentioned in our last episode that I was going to be watching.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm very curious about this.
So I really liked it, Brian.
See, I saw, yes, I did know that just through Facebook and whatnot, but I had wondered, and I knew there was a lot of skepticism and sort of snickering when this thing was announced, but in my head I thought, we've talked about this numerous times on the podcast, that there just aren't any PG movies anymore.
Yes.
Like, there's no movies for the kids who are like 10.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can show them some of the Marvel stuff and whatever, but, like, it's nice to have stuff that's directed directly at them. And I thought this seemed like an attempt to try to bring that back. So I was a little hopeful for this movie.
Yeah, it's just very sweet. It's not, you know, it knows what it is, and it stays within the realm of its own world. It's not winking at the audience a lot. I mean, there's a few nods in there to sort of like the Dora TV show and whatever. But it just works for what it is, which is like, this is something the family could all go to see in like the 80s and 90s, back when these kinds of movies would have been made. And you know, everybody can enjoy it, you know?
Yeah. Is it like a younger Indiana Jones adventure kind of thing? Or
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, that's certainly what my kids thought. I took my two older ones, so 12 and 10, and they liked it. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, they weren't too cool and they were like, Dora, I don't know, you know, they were being like stupid boys, you know. I was like, look, guys, it's a free movie and I'm going. You can ride along with me or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
So thumbs up for Dora, and Michael Pena is great, of course. But Isabella Moner, who plays Dora, is terrific. She's really good in this. She holds your attention, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like this could be like one little secret component to bringing back variety at the movies.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's much said about how you can only make really small movies or really big movies, and those in-between movies, there's no space for them. But I feel like if you start making movies where there's a little bit of a vacuum for those types of movies.
Yeah.
You know, like something you want to, your 9-year-old needs out of the house, and what can you take them to go see? You know,
right.
I don't know. I'll just throw on Netflix or something. But like, if you put out a couple Doras or something like that, then that creates another opportunity. And then, I would love to see these opportunities start to reopen up, and then maybe people can get excited about the movies again.
And one thing I will say is, I think we mentioned this in our last episode, but, you know, Todd McCarthy for Variety wrote a review that got really just lambasted all across the internet, because he was talking about the film like, oh, you know, they're 18, but they're playing 16, and yet you can feel like the sexual energy just throbbing right under the surface.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what movie you saw, but that is messed up.
Well, that actually, I hadn't thought about it this way, but that makes me happy to hear you say that, because I could imagine, because this comes from Michael Bay, right?
It does not come from Michael Bay. I thought that it did.
But
But in fact, Michael Bay's own company was like, yeah, no, we have nothing to do with it. And thank goodness for that, because to your point, you can imagine what that would conceivably have looked like.
yeah, where he feels like he does want to wink and tell inappropriate jokes between the lines, where it just feels icky.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know what he saw.
It's really bizarre. But it's a lot of fun. I actually think you would probably enjoy it too, like if you ever saw it on TV.
Yeah, I can imagine
Yeah.
a fun little adventure.
Maybe don't go to the theater and watch it by yourself, but
right.
but if you see it on TV, I think it's a harmless way to spend a couple hours.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Good. Well, I'm happy for it.
Slightly less harmless was the other kids movie I saw, which was the Angry Birds movie 2.
Okay. Have you seen one?
I did see one.
Okay.
Or I should say I saw part of one because I fell asleep in most of it. I think I've said this before on the show that, they do press screenings for kids' movies on Saturday morning, which is nice for me because first of all, I'd take all my kids and save some money. And if it's boring, I can just conk out.
Right.
And so this, Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds 1 was nap time for me, by the way. Angry Birds 2, I had to watch it for the Chronicle.
Okay, so yeah, you have a review you have to crank out for this thing, so you've got to see it.
Yes, so this was work.
Yeah.
And so the boys, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to see Angry Birds. You guys want to come? And they're like, no, we're good, dog. We'll catch it on Netflix.
Right.
And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, we're good. And I'm like,
is it something they would watch otherwise, or did they have no interest in this series?
no, they would have watched it.
Okay.
So they just decided to F off on this past Saturday.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, well, then I guess I'll go see it on my own then. Fine. And
Sons of mine.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, this is, according to Rotten Tomatoes, this is the best reviewed video game-based movie ever.
Much is made whenever a video game movie comes out, saying, is this going to be the one that breaks the video game curse?
Yes.
So that's sort of fascinating to me that there hasn't been a video game movie that's even ranked in the 80s yet.
Yes,
Right?
I was about to say.
I think
so
this was in the 70s.
This is 74. It's sitting pretty at 74. So when you say it's the best reviewed video game movie, it's sort of like saying, well, this is the best diarrhea I've ever had. Could have been worse.
Right.
This wasn't as bad as the other ones. So that's this. So to me, there's something you have to look under the surface, because when you look at many of the reviews, they're like, okay,
Sure.
I guess. It's like that. I was, first of all, I was so tired. and the movie made me tired because, I was fine before I went.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know where some of these positive reviews are coming from, but it's just color and noise. It's like someone who you don't know is taking handfuls of Skittles and just shoving them in your mouth. And you're like, stop doing that. I don't like more Skittles. And you're like, who are you? That's this movie.
Yeah. You said, excuse me, you said something in your review that I thought, I don't know how to describe it any further, but I thought it was so perfect, where you said it felt like someone took a bunch of stock things, like CGI movie things, and
Yes.
just shoved them into one movie. You said it much better than that. But I totally know what you mean. When you watch these trailers for these movies that I don't end up usually watching, there's just the style of animation, the pace of it, the sort of jokes, and then like something fast happens and then you cut to one of the animals with a confused look on its face that isn't moving at all. Like there's just these sort of stock tropes and
Yes.
styles that you see in a lot of these non-Pixar sort of animated movies. And when you said that, it made me think I could completely imagine this.
Yeah, it's, the main character is voiced by Jason Sudeikis, playing the Jason Sudeikis character. right? And this is no slight against Jason Sudeikis, but like he's got sort of like this persona that's like plug and play. And any other, I mean, you could just swap his voice into any one of these other CGI kids movies as the main character, and it would you probably wouldn't even notice it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bother describing the movie because I don't care, but.
Yeah.
I hated it. I was like Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange. You know, I mean, I was like trying to hold my eyes open because I was like, stay awake, gotta stay awake. And you know, Roger Ebert, he had this famous quote where he's like, a good movie can never be too long and a bad movie can never be too short. And my God, if Angry Birds 2 is not the personification of that, because it's 99 minutes, it felt like 99 days. I kid you not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So it seems like 10, 12, 13 years ago, whenever you thought about a kids movie or saw a kids movie or a kids movie trailer, immediately in my head I can just hear Smash Mouth's All-Star playing. So do kids movies these days, is there a Smash Mouth All-Star equivalent? Like, is there a song that just keeps popping up in all these movies?
That's a good question. I don't know. Off the top of my head.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, because that wasn't intended for Shrek or any of those trailers.
Yeah.
That was something they just co-opted, and then it became what it became. So now I think of the Trolls movie, and I know there's that Justin Timberlake song.
Yes.
So maybe now they're smart enough to be like, well, let's write one for these movies.
Well, this one is like needle drop on top of needle drop on top of a needle drop.
Okay.
There's so, like, it's like, again, it's overwhelming. It's just one handful of Skittles after the other, you know? I mean, like, it's just noise. It's just visual noise, you know? And I'm like, I can get it on one level. Like, you know what? I just need to shut my kids up for 90 minutes. So here, watch this, right?
Right.
But I'm like, well, just go to YouTube or whatever, Netflix, and they got friggin' Angry Birds cartoons there. And save yourself the money. And maybe this is an unfair comparison, but like when you watch mere days earlier Toy Story 4 and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like next level.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that this needs to be Toy Story 4. I'm not saying that. But like it's a year from now no one's going to talk about it.
Right.
You know, I have no idea how it's going to do the second one, but I if I were to guess, it's going to be another Secret Life of Pets 2 thing where it's like, all right, well, the whatever appeal was already in the first one, we scratched that itch and we're done now.
Right. And it'll play in minivans for a year until they start playing Trolls 2 for a year.
To something, exactly. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Angry Zachy reviews Angry Birds 2.
I know. I mentioned, I think that's the first thing I said in my review. I'm like, you know, there aren't a lot of angry birds in a movie called Angry Birds.
Yeah, that was funny.
You'd think that's like the one thing you got to get right.
Right. Well, maybe that was an arc they worked through in the first one, but neither of us know that because...
Yeah, I had a great nap in the first one, so I have nothing but positive memories associated with that. Also, hey, worth mentioning, I just yesterday I interviewed Jason Blum.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
So this is in connection with a new film called Don't Let Go, and there's an article I'm writing for the Chronicle. But I talked to Jason Blum. I talked to David Oyelowo, who stars in the film, and you know him from, he was Martin Luther King and Selma, and et cetera. And we had a really good conversation, so I'm looking forward to sharing that in a future episode.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. So why don't we take a little break, and then we come back, do some listener letters and some headlines.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Y'all rested and well? You're good?
Yeah, now I really want a Honda. I'm just gambling that was a Honda commercial.
So we do have a bunch of headlines to talk about, but before we do that, I wanted to share some listener letters that we got.
Okay.
So, in reference to our previous regular show, which was, we talked about Hobbs and Shaw and various other things, this is a comment from Tyler Kloster, who speaks for what feels like a quorum when he says Drunk Spielberg absolutely needs to be a recurring feature of the show. I've gotten more comments about Drunk Spielberg than a lot of other stuff.
That would be so. Yeah, that would be a funny if it was like now it's Drunk Spielberg's corner.
Yeah,
let me talk about Angry Birds. Yeah,
that's all you. That's a Brian Hall character. So feel free.
Well, wait, are you Drunk Lucas then? You're one of them. No,
I think
actually you started the Drunk Spielberg thing, and that was why we brought it back up, because it was something that happened several episodes ago, and I was remembering it, where you were talking about maybe 1941 doesn't like you.
But that was you. That was me being drunk Brian.
Oh, well, okay.
And then we just kind of played the thread. That's what it was.
Okay.
Because you're like, when I get drunk and get me started on Spielberg or whatever, and that was And then we just ran with it.
I'm all for it.
I think drunk Spielberg, like getting mad at George Lucas, would be a really funny bit.
That would be. Yeah, that'd be a funny web series.
That's right. I think Drunk Lucas would be funny. Both of them, just like sitting at a bar.
Yeah, ruminating over the past.
Maybe Jar Jar Binks doesn't like you. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Well, and we do have some Star Wars news, which we'll talk about in just a bit.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know when Drunk Spielberg will come back. And really, like, I want to emphasize, I was overwhelmed by the amount of comment that generated. So go figure.
It's funny because I'm so tempted now trying to think of something, but I'm like, no, don't force it.
Yeah,
keep it special. Keep it special.
Yeah, you don't want to be like Johnny Depp and Jack Sparrow, where you just overplayed it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to Pirates 5 this thing.
Exactly. Right. So this is from David Gutierrez, who commented on our commentary on The Karate Kid. And he says, well, a Silicon Valley bigwig and a Hollywood big shot side with Cobra Kai. Shocking. Which, you got us.
Yeah, he's got our number.
He's got our number. It's funny because I think my recollection of our track is that I was like, maybe Johnny's not such a bad guy, and basically I like converted you by the end of it.
Yeah. Well, at best, I would say it made me realize despite this conversation that's been happening for the past couple of years, I was always still on Daniel's side. And then watching it this time, I realized, well, maybe Johnny isn't as bad as I remembered him. And Daniel is a little more gray than I remembered. Mm-hmm. But where I fell was, I think we both agreed, we sort of liked how this didn't become a sort of paint by numbers sports movie where the villain is, the hero's squeaky clean and the villain is all bad. Like, I kind of liked that they're teens. They kind of had their good moments. They kind of had their bad moments. I like that it was a little scrappy like that.
I agree with that, yeah. David also says, I worked in the building that Brian would later. When I was there, it was Disney Online, but then became Bento Box's home, which is what it was when you were there. Yeah. And he says the dojo was right across the street, and I think it may have been destroyed in a fire recently.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, Bento, actually, I wasn't in that building directly. Bob's Burgers was in a remote building just down the road.
There you go.
However, I did go to that building often, and they would have like Halloween parties there and whatnot. But yeah, oh man, well I'm just bummed to hear about the fire. Gee.
Yeah. Here's another letter, or another comment rather, about the Karate Kid commentary. And this is from Eric Sean, and he says, my first couple of years here in Las Vegas, I used to see Pat Morita around a lot. One of my first singing gigs here was a week at a lounge in Harrah's that was one of his favorite haunts. During a break, he came up to me and told me how much he liked a song I sang. He was half he was half in the bag, but very nice. And after that, and you'll appreciate this, we'd spot each other here or there and exchange a nod or a wave.
That's so cool. Wow, that would be... I can't even... Like, it's like otherworldly or something. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like someone from a movie that you've known for so long of your life, and to have that person suddenly in the real world with you and like, hey, Brian. Like,
Yeah.
that would just be so surreal.
Just having like a normal reaction.
Yeah, like Mr. Miyagi or like Obi-Wan Kenobi or someone, just in real life being like, hey, living on a prayer. That was really good.
That's it. It kind of reminds me of this. This is not at all the exact same thing, but like on Twitter, I will occasionally converse with John Glover.
Oh, right. Yes.
And I follow him. He follows me. And a couple months ago, one of my reviews. It was for Lethal Weapon 4. My review for Lethal Weapon 4 was posted on Vudu, and so I put that on Twitter. I was like, dude, my Lethal Weapon 4 review is on Vudu. And so John Glover's like, I love that movie, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I do too, John Glover. And then cut to like a week or so later, John Glover tweets something, and I can't remember what it was, and I responded to him. I was like, oh, hey, cool, or hey, congratulations. And he responds, thanks, Riggs.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, John Glover remembered me.
yeah. And he played into your inside joke.
I know. Yeah. I feel like you have these experiences all the time, though. I mean, gosh, you've worked with all kinds of famous people.
Yeah, I don't know.
You and your
we
buddy
might have had
Brad
these moments in. What's that?
You and your buddy Brad Pitt.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we probably would have had those moments within that span of time.
Sure.
On that film, but I'm certain Brad Pitt would not remember me on the street now.
I don't know. I have it on good authority. He based Cliff Booth on you.
The way he leaped onto the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he beat up Bruce Lee.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I want to.
Which,
be a time to that.
by the way, did you hear about how like Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, was like not crazy about, like, she was echoing what I said on our show.
Yes. Oh, you know what? We haven't really talked about this, but this is a good opportunity for me to say I've seen the movie a second time.
Okay.
And it's clear it's a flashback.
Yes. Okay. Good. So
I was the first time I saw it, I was under the impression that it could have been a fantasy.
Okay.
And I think mostly because it just felt sort of almost like Simpsons-esque.
Okay.
How they
like
would do those
cutaway.
sort of things. I was familiar with that pattern of joke or storytelling, and I was happy to see that I wasn't alone in this. I saw several other people say the same thing. But yes, seeing it a second time, you were correct. It's a flashback. So I'm happy to sort of correct myself there.
I saw the and I'm sure you saw it too, where Shannon Lee's like, seeing my father depicted that way made me feel really uncomfortable, and it kind of she wasn't like, this movie sucks, which to her credit, she was measured in her response.
Yeah,
but she was clearly not thrilled, right?
Right.
And what I found funny is that Tarantino gave an interview this week where he's basically like, oh well, that's how Bruce Lee was, so like. Right. And I'm like, Quentin.
You're right. No, you had an opportunity.
Yeah. Like, it was weird to me that he steered into the crash, Yeah,
because I think for me, if I were to, have a comment on that scene, I would say the way I took it is, possible embellishment in his head.
Sure.
Because I'm sure that did happen, but then he just is remembering it in sort of this heightened way or something, or maybe not. I don't know. But it was an opportunity for Quentin to possibly, explain himself a little bit.
What he said is, he's like, oh, people are getting upset because they're like, oh, Cliff couldn't have, battled Bruce Lee to a draw or whatever. He's like, well, Cliff Booth can do anything because he's a fictional character. And I'm like, well, that's kind of bullshit if you ask me.
Oh, yes, the Dracula. He's just like, well, what if Bruce Lee fought Dracula? Actually, I didn't think that was that terrible of an argument. I was like, well, I don't know. I guess it's...
I mean, you would be... I don't know. To me, I'm like, yeah, but to me, there's that's a very blinkered way of deliberately looking past the reverential role that Bruce Lee occupies in our sort of cultural milieu.
That I don't disagree with. I mean, I think... I don't disagree with that line of thinking where he's creating a fictional character and trying to show you what he's capable of.
Yes.
But I do agree that his sort of glibness about it is a little off-putting.
The thought I had is I think it would have made Cliff no less impressive if, he held his own even as Bruce Lee beat the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. Right? So what we'd have is, it's like...
Oh, so he keeps getting up.
Right, exactly. So because it's like Bruce Lee wins one round, Cliff wins the second round, and then before they can do the third round, it's interrupted. So it's like left hanging, right?
Mm.
Well, have Bruce Lee decisively win, but Cliff taking it is impressive.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah. I was also trying to... This is like a really delicate tightrope for me to walk, I feel, just being some white dude who actually doesn't know a ton about Bruce Lee. But I was trying to think about it in a different context, and I was like, what if you made a movie about a guy who was really great at basketball, and then he had this flashback where he was playing one-on-one with Michael Jordan, and then he somehow juked him, and Jordan fell on his ass, and then the guy dunked. Like, I think that scene would make me laugh, because I know that's ridiculous.
Sure.
But then again, I know that's kind of apples and oranges, comparing, people and context, and also just the time when Bruce Lee was trying to make his way. So I don't know.
And then there's also the fact that Bruce Lee died tragically young.
Sure.
And so, I mean, there's this, I don't know, it's different.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and we're like regurgitating like a 2-week-old conversation. All of this in the context, I'm not down on the movie because of it, but I feel like this is a discussion at least that's worth having.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting to follow.
So the real question is, would it be better if Cliff fought Mr. Miyagi? Just to tie back into Eric's, what got this whole thing started.
Right. Well, don't go there. Nah.
That's right. We have a couple new reviews, actually quite a few new reviews up on iTunes. I want to thank everybody who wrote. So this past week I did a little impromptu contest, Brian, where I came into possession of a 4K digital code for Avengers Endgame.
Ooh.
And so I said, hey, if you like the show, if you dig the show, go leave a comment and a review on iTunes. And, I'm going to, Brian, you'll appreciate this. I'm going to use a random number generator to see who gets the prize.
Yeah, we've spoken before that I'm just completely amused by the notion of a random number generator. Or just the words, I think, crack me up.
So this is a comment from Mike Snyder who says, my favorite podcast of movie talk. Zach and Brian make the work commute a bit easier with their lively chat about recent releases and movie news. Feels like you're joining two friends for some good conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Which is nice. And this is from Nerdy Nick's Nook, who says, I've been following this podcast for a short while now, but very much appreciate the effort invested in making this fun yet deep discussion about all things cinema, including the history, people, and future of film. Keep the show going, folks.
Oh, thank you. And I appreciate actually the call out about the effort, because it's, we do it obviously for the love of it, but yeah, it takes a little bit of work, and hearing that just makes the work all worth it.
The effort is overwhelmingly on Brian's part, because he's the guy who makes it sound all pretty, and he actually does all kinds of work on my voice to make me sound sexy like I do right now.
If I were to take off the voice filter.
Yeah, I actually sound like Dustin Diamond in the later seasons of Saved by the Bell. It's just a mess. So
yeah,
this is a lot of filters.
You don't know how many zoinks I edit out.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So he's doing the Lord's work right there.
I appreciate it.
So thank you everyone for sending those reviews, and we hope you will continue to do that.
Yeah, thank you. They mean so much. Truly, thank you.
So we got some headlines, Brian.
Let's do it.
All right, just starting things off. Unfortunately, we got some sad news, Brian. This just happened. Peter Fonda has passed away.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up.
79 years old, and it's weird when he died after a struggle with lung cancer, unfortunately, and I don't know, this is one of those things where I'm like, Peter Fonda, he can't be that old, and then you're like, oh, he was 79.
Right. You
know what I mean? It's weird, like we're in this place now where quote unquote young actors like Peter Fonda are old enough where this type of headline is not, entirely unforeseen,
It's funny you say that. Sorry, this is like an immediate tangent, but I was just talking with our pal Sean, And I was saying how when we were growing up, it's because when you said that he was young and then he's passed away at 79. It's interesting how when we were younger, the action stars were like 30s. Right?
Yes.
Like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Bruce Willis, whatever. But as time passes on, I feel like we're not getting any new young action stars. Like, Jason Statham is in his 50s.
Right.
Tom Cruise is the same age as Wilford Brimley in Cocoon, and he's
Goodness.
jumping out of airplanes. And we might get an Indiana Jones movie starring like a 70-year-old.
Right.
70 plus.
Yeah.
Right. And isn't that kind of interesting? It just seems like that age, because when we were growing up, if you told me, we'd go watch some movie or an action film starring a 70-year-old, you'd be like, no, I'm not. Like Hugh
Right.
Cronin and Jessica Tandy in Mission Impossible 6. Like I can't even picture it. But now we're kind of doing that. So yeah, it's like 70s feels different now than it did, I feel like, several years ago to me. Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, I think it's just, part of it is because we process age through our own prism of age.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's when you're, think about it this way, when you are 15, the idea of thinking 25 years ahead is like bananas, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm staring down the barrel of 40. I'm going to be 40 in a few weeks. And it's this weird thing where I'm like, I remember 25 years ago as if it was yesterday, and 25 years from now would be like when I retire.
Right.
That's weird, man.
That's exciting. I want to retire.
I mean, one hopes, right? Between now and then, I need to find an oil well somewhere.
Right.
Because I have five
Clampett,
children. I have 5 kids to send to college between now and then.
Oh my gosh. That's
and that haunts my dreams.
Yeah.
So anyway, Peter Fonda died.
Yeah, to bring it back, it's funny because I'll admit, I mean, he's a little bit of a blind spot for me because I've never seen Easy Rider. He's just like one of those classic actors I know about, but I don't know that I've seen a ton of his work, honestly.
I mean, Easy Rider, I saw it in film school, so that was obviously kind of that. I by the time I saw that, I already knew who Peter Fonda was, but then you really see it, and you see Peter Fonda when he's like young, he's in his 20s, Jack Nicholson, what's his name, King Koopa. Dennis Hopper. Don't you love how I went with King Koopa?
Yeah.
But they're like young. Like that to me, it's like Easy Rider. This is the new young guard. Like Hollywood used to be one way, and now and forever after Easy Rider, it's going to be like this. We young people are going to take it in this way, and it's like, I mean, that's a long time ago now. But like to me, he was just like always one of these presences. He was in a movie called Uli's Gold in the late '90s, which if you haven't seen it, it's terrific.
That sounds so familiar. What is that?
It's about a guy who grows his own honey.
Interesting. That title is so familiar, but that premise doesn't sound familiar. I have to look it up.
He's like a beekeeper, and it's Peter Fonda, and it's kind of like his later in life sort of reinvention where he, doing more. I mean, not to say it's exactly like this, but it's almost like his On Golden Pond, like where that was like Henry Fonda's like late in life thing. Although that was like Henry Fonda's like last big thing, but this is really like reasserted why he's such a good actor.
Right.
He's also in The Limey. Have you seen The Limey?
No, that comes up a lot. I really need to see.
You should watch The Limey.
Yeah, I know. I was just listening to a podcast where they were freaking out about it. I was like, yeah, The Limey. I got to watch that.
You absolutely should watch that. It's Steven Soderbergh. Terrence Stamp is in the title character. So good.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's like the villain in that, Peter Fonda.
Okay.
But just one of those. It was to me. It's just he's like a presence, man. It's like he's. Whenever you see him, you're like, oh, okay, he's classing it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I just recently saw, I've been going through Hawaii Five-0. He was in like the second season of that show and like a guest show and stuff.
So he's still going strong.
He's still going strong. Still, I mean, I'm looking at his IMDb page right now, and he's got a couple films that are yet to be released. Mm-hmm. So Skate God, that's due next year. He was in 3:10 to Yuma, the remake.
Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I saw that.
Yeah, there you go. He was in Ghost Rider.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
See, I didn't see that. It's funny. All these movies, most of them I haven't seen. I never saw Ghost Rider.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that you watch Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
but he was good
with the Nicolas Cage eating jelly beans out of a martini glass.
Exactly. He's
Okay.
So Peter Fonda played Mephistopheles in that.
Okay.
So Nicolas Cage makes a deal with the devil he sells his soul. That's like a Ghost Rider thing. That's what Ghost Rider.
Sure. I'm familiar with Ghost Rider.
As Ghost Riders are wont to do, he makes a deal with the devil, and Peter Fonda plays said devil.
Oh, okay.
And that's the way the jelly bean crumbles in that particular instance. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, did you see this? He gave some interview to the Times.
Yeah, I know. I saw this headline. Yeah,
it's actually a great interview. It's very in depth. But I was like sitting in class and my phone buzzes and I get a little notification and it's a thing from the New York Times. It says Nicolas Cage opens up about his stolen dinosaur skull, his literal quest for the Holy Grail, and how his cobras informed his acting. And I'm like, if that title did not exist, in order for to describe Nicolas Cage would have had to do all that just so that the headline would say that.
Yeah.
That is the most Nicolas Cageiest of headlines.
We must have on air talked about that whole Russell Crowe, DiCaprio dinosaur skull thing.
No.
Oh, maybe, did we not? So basically, Russell Crowe went over to DiCaprio's house or something. And DiCaprio's like, yeah, I'm looking to unload this, dinosaur skull I have. And Russell Crowe's like, yeah, my kids will love it. I'll take it. And DiCaprio's like, yeah, I need to get rid of it because a new one's coming on the market I'm interested in. And I was like, what universe?
Are these people rich people problems.
It's like the Phantasmosaurus or whatever it is, or, thing, the rich people zoo on The Simpsons. It's like people just trading dinosaur skulls for their kids and...
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, when I find that oil well,
yeah, sure. You need to know these things.
Yeah,
and then I'll join you on your quest for the Holy Grail.
I first order of business is to A, get my dinosaur skull, and then B, find the Holy Grail finally. What's funny to me is that headline. It's like Andy Samberg as Nicolas Cage could say that.
Yes. It is. It's a sketch come to life.
And you'd believe it,
Yeah.
Anyway, so Peter Fonda, 79, he will be missed. Part of the old guard that is rapidly dwindling away.
Yeah, and I am going through his IMDb page now, and he never stopped.
He never stopped.
He just right up. He's got these unreleased movies here. It's incredible. Well,
yeah,
I've got some movie watching to do.
I was about to say, folks, if you're kind of, and I would assume a lot of people are like Brian, where like the name, if nothing else, the sort of the family legacy because of Jane Fonda, obviously, etc. But you're like, who was Peter Fonda? The 3 movies I would recommend: Easy Rider, Uli's Gold, The Limey.
All right,
those are my recommendations.
Yeah, I'll check those out.
You can't go wrong with them. What else do we have going on? The other shoe has dropped vis-a-vis Fox and Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a shoe that I think many of us saw pre-dropped. Like we saw it coming.
Yes.
Which is they basically, now that Fox is fully in-house at Disney, Disney's like, hey, everything you guys have been developing, we're going to nix like all of that.
Right. Which I suppose isn't surprising, but it's got to be pretty devastating. I mean, all this work. I was thinking about all these projects, you go in and you pitch and then a studio says they're going to make it and you're developing it. And it's this probably years and millions of dollars spent on these things. And then just to have them brushed off the table. Like you said, I think we all anticipated this, but it doesn't make it any less devastating.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I'm of two minds because when you look at the stuff that's been kiboshed, I don't think it's unreasonable for Disney to be like, you know what, let's take a fresh look at all this stuff. Oh yeah,
from an objective viewpoint, of course, right? I mean, Disney has a voice. And now this is going to be released by them. They got to see if it aligns with what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, what's been said is like Disney is looking at Fox's brand, and they're not going to let that stuff wither. The one piece of news that obviously made my heart flutter was there's a new Planet of the Apes that they're planning.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty, oh, wait, by the way, do you ever watch Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld?
Occasionally.
Did you see the Eddie Murphy one?
I didn't. I've heard it's excellent, though.
Yeah, normally these things are about 15 minutes long, and his is like 40 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there's just this random moment where Eddie Murphy starts talking about Planet of the Apes, and it turns out he is a huge fan.
Oh, funny.
And he starts listing all of the sequels, and Seinfeld's like, wait, but Battle? And he's like, no. And Eddie Murphy just starts like rattling them off in order and talks about a time when he went to the movies as a boy, and they ran them back to back, and he watched them each twice.
Wow.
Like, he's a huge fan, and I thought you'd appreciate that.
See that? I'm in good company.
Yeah.
It's my affinity for Planet of the Apes is, for anyone who knows me, that's like one of my most defining characteristics. Mm-hmm. Right? More than my love of my children is my love of the dystopian ape future. Right. But like it's hilarious to me how it sort of like to me that's like my indie cred. Even though it is like this studio franchise. Sure. Because that's not the franchise that most people like glom onto. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone, you say, for me, of course, it's like Star Wars.
Exactly.
And people would agree with me and also go, well, yeah. But for you, yeah, it's this 1968, right? When it started?
Yeah.
Yeah, this series that started in 1968. And everybody knows, but I bet a lot of people haven't seen many of the movies aside from the original, if even that.
That's true.
So yeah, it's like the cool band, you know, or like people have seen the sequels. Oh, the Tim Burton one. You're like, no.
Yeah.
Like I liked its work, its early work.
So apparently this new Apes film, which is in the very, very, very early stages of development, will continue on from where Matt Reeves left things hanging at War for the Planet of the Apes. Well, he didn't really leave anything hanging, but, it'll continue on from there.
Okay, so it's not a reimagining.
It is not.
It'll continue in that universe.
They've done that, yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited for that.
So the stuff that is still planning to come out, we got the Bob's Burgers movie.
Mm-hmm. Happy for that, obviously.
Obviously, you've got that's like a family success for you. Mm-hmm. There's another Kingsman coming after this Kingsman prequel.
Oh, I like those. Cool.
Glad to see that. There is the next Poirot movie starring Kenneth Branagh. Oh, yeah.
I was a little middle of the road with the first one, but that doesn't mean that I'm excited to see them step it up a little bit more with the next one.
That doesn't mean you're not excited to see them?
No, I am. Yeah. I something about it just, as soon as it was over, like nothing about it stuck with me, but I loved the idea of it.
Sure,
I like the idea of this being a big movie that came out, and I'd love to see them take another crack at it.
Well, there we go. And so that's coming. And then the New Mutants is still coming, that feels like something Disney's trying to scrape off its shoe.
Yeah. Much has been said about how much nobody is happy with that one, and so I kind of feel bad for all the people involved.
I mean, they finished filming this thing in like 2004 or something, and it's been just kicking around. I mean, it's been done for a few years now. Mm-hmm. And I think after Dark Phoenix just dropped a deuce, right? I think that's why they don't know what to do about New Mutants, because I don't think the studio wants it. I don't think the audience wants it. Nobody wants it.
Well, and wasn't there significant reshoots planned, and they had to wait for all of those actors to be available?
Well, apparently they never did the significant reshoots.
And at this point,
yeah,
does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter. Yeah, because the lead actress is Anya Taylor-Joy from Glass, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, I never did any reshoots.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if you're the lead, then, right? Yeah. Either they just didn't tell you or they didn't do them.
Yeah. Or they do like a Radioactive Man thing with her, in Millhouse. And she's just like, right. Yes. With like a different background behind her in every scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the stuff that has been kiboshed, we got, Brian McClane is not going to happen.
Yeah, which we weren't feeling great about to begin with.
Yeah, so this is the Die Hard prequel that Len Wiseman was directing. There was a Taika Waititi Flash Gordon reboot. Which sounds interesting on paper, but then again, I feel like Ragnarok is basically Taika Waititi's Flash Gordon.
Good point.
Right? And then this one, actually, I was kind of interested in. It was a film about the McDonald's monopoly scandal.
Yeah.
And this is Ben Affleck was developing this.
Yeah, no, this sounded like a really interesting story, and there was like a whole sort of battle for the rights at one point, right? And a lot of people were excited about this thing, and that includes me and you as well. So
yes,
hopefully that'll end up somewhere.
Yeah, that's the only one. I mean, this slate was voluminous, and honestly, that's the only one I looked at, and I'm like, well, that one feels like a loss. Everything else, like Die Hard, supposedly they want to reboot Die Hard.
Reboot Die Hard.
Yeah, they just want to like restart it.
Dude, I feel like if you try to do that now, you just make Skyscraper.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrifically bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm like either you do a kick-ass final movie with Bruce Willis, where you get him interested at least like 70%. That's all we can hope for at this point.
Yeah.
Or you just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
And let me say, I think that sentence I said wasn't very clear. What I mean is, you attempt to make Die Hard again. You attempt to remake it, but you accidentally just end up making Skyscraper again.
Right.
Because you have computers available and you can do whatever you want. And you feel like audiences have seen this, so they got to see something bigger. And it's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not what Die Hard is.
That's exactly right. So basically, it's becoming clear, although everyone knew this already, the main reason Fox was gobbled up by Disney was for the IPs. They're going to, whatever they can use, they're going to use. Everything else is just going to go into the closet, and they'll see what they can do with later.
Yep.
Supposedly, they're rebooting, they're doing another Home Alone for the Disney Plus service.
I can't even picture that.
Yeah, I mean, you can picture it, actually, because they've done, like, 4...
lame made for video.
Yeah, so that's what it'll look like, you know.
That movie, we did a commentary on it. That movie is such a miracle that it works.
Yep.
It's a mixture of heart and violence and and comedy. It's just, I can't even imagine the attempt to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting mad at Disney. Like, oh, this is what happens in Disney. And, you know, Disney is like the biggest kid on the block, so of course everyone takes their shots. But I honestly, I don't view them wiping the slate as, like, evil in and of itself. To me, that's what happens when a new regime comes in. That's just part of the process, you know?
Yeah. I'm mindful for the human element of that happening.
Yes.
But at the same time, I get it. Like that's
I mean, it
what
sucks,
happens.
but that's how it goes. I mean, we're not going to get some of the darker and more, more Fox-esque type stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would argue that a lot of Fox's output had lost its identity a little bit too in recent years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, you talk about, well, what does a Fox movie look like? I don't know. It had gotten very fractured.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
I mean, you look at like right now, Warner Brothers has Joker coming out in a couple in like 2 months, right? And they got It coming out.
Yep.
And both of those seem tonally of a piece.
Sure. Yeah.
Like both of those look like Warner Brothers movies.
Yes.
Right? Like it's gonna make like 120 opening weekend.
Wow.
You know? And Joker, by the way, they're saying that's looking at between 60 and 80 million for its opening weekend.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So that would be like its entire budget in one weekend.
You know, I mean, that doesn't surprise me in some ways because it's Joker and Batman and, you know, a lot of people are going to turn up for that. But I wonder if a lot of people are going to be surprised by what they get.
You know there's going to be like families in that audience.
Yep.
Because they're just dumb. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, now you'll recall, like 2 years ago, I was like, never will this movie be made. No, come on. I stand by that, Brian. I don't think that Joker movie will be released. That's my... No, obviously I have egg on my face because it is coming out and it looks quite good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but I think that that's something that, to me, it's like there's an identity there that's, as different as these films obviously are. They're sort of they look like Warner Brothers films. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense, I guess, but.
No, but I get it. And like you said, you're totally right. I hadn't thought about it. But yeah, Fox, I don't know that I could describe a Fox movie from the past 10-ish years.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a new face inevitably under Disney, and I wonder what Disney will mold that into.
Yeah.
What will a Fox movie look like in the next 5 years?
What will a
I don't
Disney
know.
Fox movie look like?
Yeah.
Actually, we were just talking about the Joker. The development on the Batman is proceeding apace.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's exciting.
It's very exciting. I don't know if you heard this, but their rumor mill is saying that Pierce Brosnan will be Alfred.
Wow.
Tell me that doesn't sound awesome.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm just calibrating in my head Pierce Brosnan because I was like, no, he's like good-looking James Bond.
He's like 35. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like exactly. He's the guy in Miss Doubtfire. That totally makes sense.
That's the one bummer of rebooting is like we lose a great Commissioner Gordon and we lose a great Alfred.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because J.K. Simmons and Jeremy Irons both, like, I would have loved to see just, the Batman movie that they got to be a part of that wasn't like a universe movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Regardless, Batman will be facing a huge villain, but that villain cannot be as evil as MoviePass, Brian.
Oh, boy, here we go. Zachy, you would have thought the MoviePass drama would be over. But, this is really funny. And
Brian, it's been long enough. Maybe you should tell people what MoviePass is in case they don't remember.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the reason I get all maudlin now and we have our music playing is that MoviePass was a business that I subscribed to I guess about a year ago now,
yep.
Where what you do is you'd pay a certain amount of money each month, so say like $12 a month, and then you could see as many movies as you wanted. So, great deal, right? But what happened was it started getting more and more complicated where they'd be like, I think it used to be if you paid a certain amount, you could see one movie every day, which is crazy, and no one can do that. But then they were like, well, you know what? We're a small business. We're sort of restructuring. Now we're going to make it like 3 movies a week. And then it became, 3 movies a week, but only at these theaters. And only at these theaters during these times. And they kept adding all these stipulations. And while everybody was sort of complaining about it online, and I'd say justifiably so, because once you introduce something, you can get complaints once you take it away.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be able to even see 3 movies in 1 week. So as long as I'm seeing 1 free movie a week for this monthly subscription price, I'm not even mad. And but then it got more nefarious when nothing was available. I mean, you would click on every day and no movie was available for you to see. And I think it all started with Mission Impossible Fallout, where everyone was like, great, this is like one of the big movies of the summer, I'm going to see it. And then MoviePass announced, yeah, we won't be servicing Mission Impossible Fallout.
Right.
And still I was like, well, Krusty is coming. I was like, I still feel like this is like worthwhile. I feel like this is something I can believe in, even though I'm still saving money. But anyway, then eventually MoviePass became just unbearable, where you just literally, no theaters were available, no times were available, and I said, screw this, and I moved on to Cinemia, which I only mention as a footnote. Cinemia was even better because you could go to any movie theater. There were no movie theater restrictions. But then Cinemia died a very quick, surprising death.
I actually didn't know that. So they're donezo?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
So one morning I received an email from Cinemia that said, as of today, Cinemia is closing effective immediately forever.
Wow.
That was like 80% of the actual language. I think it said, effective immediately, we are done. Goodbye. Which you're like, what's the story there? I don't want to drown in the story here, so I'll leave that for another day. But going back to MoviePass, we'd all kind of moved past it and realized they were a little bit of a punchline. And you had moved on to A-List, which is a sustainable service, which is still working for you right now. But then there was this bombshell that was dropped by Business Insider about a week ago, I think. And it turns out that MoviePass wasn't just this poor little company that couldn't keep up. They were a little bit sinister in their practices here, which I suppose isn't really surprising to anyone. As these awful things were happening and people weren't getting the service they needed, MoviePass tried to be earnest, and they would send out these emails to their subscribers and say, hey, you know what? We get it. This sucks. We know. But you know what? We're this small, scrappy company, and we're asking for more money, and once we get it, we're going to make sure we can service you guys the best way we can. And I'll admit I was a little bit of an idiot, and I was like, that's cool, man. I just appreciate you trying to give me this like enhanced movie experience, and so I'm a dum-dum, just to even give them the benefit of the doubt. But what it turns out was, as this was happening, they were actually messing with people's subscribers' passwords to their accounts.
Yes.
So they couldn't log in because they couldn't afford for half their people to log in. So they were willfully, knowingly screwing customers doing this, which is enough. I mean, that's enough for a lawsuit.
Right.
But then it turns out what would happen was, as they were asking for more cash, depending on how much cash they had in their pockets, that's how much they would allow people to see movies. So if they had X amount of $1 million and they could afford to let their subscribers go to movies, then they would. But as soon as they ran out of money, they would send you this alert where it would say like, oops, sorry, like this theater isn't available in your area. Or they would say, actually, what they would actually say is, there are no more screenings at this theater today.
Wow.
Yeah, and basically that was just because they ran out of money. And they started putting these little tripwires where basically, if they had millions of dollars, they, if that would get hit, then they would, and they ran out, they would say, you couldn't see the movie, or sometimes it would be as little as a few $100,000. So you never knew when the tripwire was going to hit, and then all of a sudden movies weren't available on this service that you're paying for.
Yeah.
You're paying full price for. So anyway, I hope this isn't all confusing, this dump. But it was crazy, and I'm certain we're going to see some sort of lawsuit against them soon. And
I'm certain after that we'll get a in development Ben Affleck movie that will get canceled by Disney about all this.
Yeah, or the Aaron Sorkin movie, which I'd look forward to.
Oh man, I want some kind of movie about this. I mean, geez, it doesn't. I mean, it feels like there's some kind of movie to be made,
Yeah, but apparently there's even a quote in the article. A counsel at the U.S. Department of Justice told Business Insider that MoviePass's behavior was certainly unethical and could be illegal. So it looks like, and they're still around, by the way.
Yeah, doing
Cinema
what?
is done, but MoviePass is still around. So I mean, this is. Do you remember also their stock was really high for a little bit, and then it went down to pennies.
Right.
And then people were like, well, if I buy it at pennies, obviously it's going to rebound. And so there was like that whole angle to it too, where people just didn't know what was going to happen with this thing. So this was just a colossal disaster. But I wonder if it will be a footnote to a type of service that will eventually succeed. Because I will say about MoviePass, it did get me to go see movies I probably otherwise would not have seen in theaters. The Three Brothers thing.
Right, but so what MoviePass in all honesty is very similar to Netflix in the sense that I have a feeling Netflix will be going through the same raft of problems in the years ahead. And I wonder. Well, and the reason I say that is because when you look at what MoviePass did, MoviePass put it out there. Here's a service that we're offering, and they proved that there's value in the marketplace for that. And then you had the companies, the movie companies, saying, hey, that's a good idea. I think we're going to do that. Right? So you get Century, you get AMC, you get Regal, etc. The places that structurally they can do a service like this and even view it as a loss leader, because who's making money off concessions and everything else? They are.
They are, yeah.
Right? So you look at something like Netflix. Netflix is like, hey, we're proving that there's a market for watching existing and new content exclusively through streaming. And then all the corporations got in on that action.
Yep.
right? So is Disney Plus gonna be the death knell for Netflix? No, but Disney Plus the HBO thing plus the NBC Universal plus blah 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 blah. It's gonna be death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, and this could be the beginning of it as we're seeing them lose The Office.
And Friends.
And Friends, yeah. Being reclaimed by all the original owners who are starting their own services. So, I don't know.
I mean, look at Disney Plus has a huge advantage because in terms of original content, they can afford to just pour money into it. Mm-hmm. Right? And then you look at, like, every season of The Simpsons is going to be on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, and so all these content examples are getting siloed.
Yep.
And so ultimately, I mean, that's bad for the consumer, but that's just why this stuff happens, I guess, right?
Well, and it's interesting too because I know Netflix, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they account for a surprising and enormous percentage of internet usage.
Right.
In the U.S. or around the world, probably even. And so, I mean, it is a juggernaut. But the thing is they're losing some of their, prime reasons to subscribe to them, and their original content is not living up to the promise of the first wave of exciting original content.
Yes.
And the exciting prospect of the movies that they're producing. They're just okay.
Yes.
Like, they're not making you be like, oh, you've got to see this movie.
Yeah, you mean Bright didn't do that?
Bright, or what was that other one with Oscar Isaac and Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Triple
Frontier.
Triple Frontier, I think that's it.
Yeah, which I did like that movie, but it wasn't. I didn't tell anyone they had to see it.
Right.
So it's like they need to be a little more discerning. And I think worry less about volume and worry more about quality. And I think then they have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
More than a fighting chance. Well,
that's a to be continued conversation.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we're talking about media companies increasingly becoming siloed. Another big merger worth mentioning is CBS and Viacom rejoining.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this. I just hear Viacom and I think CBS, and I don't know why that is. And what can you tell me what this all means?
So they were a company. Mm-hmm. They split. And then, like the Van Houtens, they're back together.
They are?
Yeah, the Van Houtens got back together. You didn't know that?
No.
See, because you stopped watching The Simpsons like a while ago.
Yeah.
That's on the top of my head only because I just watched the episode where they get remarried. I realize people are like, what the hell are you talking about? So Milhouse, who is Bart's friend,
yes,
has two. His mom is Luann. His father is Kirk. And they are possibly brother and sister.
Because they oddly both look like Milhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they got divorced when the show was still in like single digits, I think, right?
And it was a very surprising permanent move that the show made.
Yes. So they eventually got back together in the end.
Oh.
So like the Van Houtens, CBS split from Viacom in 2006. Mm-hmm. And this was a baffling decision even back then. I didn't fully understand why, but it ended up damaging both companies. CBS less so than Viacom, but various behind the scenes finagling has been going on, and without getting into all of it, Sumner Redstone is like 90 plus years old, and he's like the head of both companies, and so he'd been trying to get them to merge. He's been basically grandfathered out, and his daughter, who is now in charge, that she made it her mission to put the companies back together. Even then, the biggest impediment to remerging the companies was the head of CBS Corporation, who was who, Brian, until recently?
Oh, Moonves.
Yeah, Les Moonves, who got Me Too'd.
Yep.
So he gets Me Too'd, and suddenly the road is cleared for the companies to remerge. So what does this mean, big picture? Well, it means that there's the opportunity for more corporate synergy because you had like properties whose rights were bifurcated.
I see.
Right. So Mission Impossible is one. the CBS held on to the TV rights. It started as a TV show, and then you had the movies doing their thing. And obviously, the bigger example is Star Trek, which, we've talked about it on the show before, but it was split in this goofy way where neither side. It was like both sides were cannibalizing business from each other when it should all be coming out of the same pot. Mm-hmm. So kind of interesting is actually Star Trek specifically was cited as one of the reasons necessitating the move to re-merge the companies. So there was acknowledgement within the company that this is one of their crown jewels that they are damaging. Mm-hmm. But what does this mean? I don't know. Right. I mean, big picture doesn't mean anything. As a Star Trek fan, I like that it's all back under one roof. And while I should be like, oh God, not another corporate merger, I'm also of the mind that, well, this shouldn't have happened anyway. Sure. So you're just fixing the thing, You're just doing a quantum leap. You're Sam Becketting this thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But as far as Star Trek goes, I mean that franchise is firing on all cylinders, at least on the TV side. They released a trailer for the Captain Picard show, and like a full trailer at San Diego Comic-Con, and I mean, my gosh, I'm so pumped for this.
It's an exciting time for entertainment where you can. That's something you would fantasize about.
Yeah.
15 some years ago. Like, can you imagine? And it's like high budget, and it looks like a film, and it's taken very seriously, and then now it's not out of the realm of possibility to get something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So as far as the movie side of Star Trek, I would imagine that this merger move makes it more likely rather than less that we get another movie relatively soon, because you've chopped out like the licensing fee or whatever that Paramount would have had to pay. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Supposedly Tarantino's still talking about doing it. We'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm sure we've talked about it, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that's jarring to the brand, or do you feel that's exciting?
Me personally, and I think I'm in the minority, I'm excited by that.
Okay.
Not because, again, you've heard me talk about it. I'm not like a huge Tarantino fan, but I'm like, Tarantino is coming at it as a fan of Star Trek.
Right.
And I'm like, what is the Star Trek movie that Quentin Tarantino wants to tell?
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be very curious.
And he's kind of said, oh, it'd be like Pulp Fiction in space. And I don't know what that looks like,
Yeah, when he says that, I can imagine it being sort of these disparate things that happen that seem random, but then all work together in the end to some sort of cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're Paramount, why wouldn't you want this to happen, right?
Yeah.
Because if the franchise is effectively dead for the moment, the movie side.
Right.
So here comes Tarantino. He's not going to blow out the budget, you know that.
Right.
And you're trying to get, Chris Pine or whoever. Chris Pine would sign on for Tarantino to make that movie, right?
Sure. I didn't even think of it that way.
For less money, probably, back. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, there's all these factors here that make me say, I mean, what the hell? What do you have to lose, right? Mm-hmm. You're the Trekkies are gonna be pissed off no matter what.
Right. There's always gonna be factions.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be pissed off over anything because that's just how they are. So whatever. Yeah. Say you make a movie and it's not that good. Hey, at least you tried. You rolled the dice and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if let's say it succeeds, now you've expanded the boundaries of what the franchise is capable of. That's a win.
Yeah. I agree.
That's me. So Brian, here's another headline that just broke. RoboCop returns. Remember that sequel that's been threatened?
Yeah.
So this is the dawning of the age of the reboot sequel that ignores the reboot that came before it. Right?
Can you imagine, like 20 years ago, studios would be like, audiences can't understand this, but we're so savvy now. And this has happened so many times that people are like, yeah, no, we get it. Nobody liked the last one. You're making a sequel to. Yeah, we got it.
we got it. So obviously they're doing that with like Ghostbusters, right? Uh-huh. So Neil Blomkamp, he of District 9 and then many unmade proposed movies.
Some Aliens sequel
Right.
that was gonna,
Which was also gonna like ignore the sequel that came before it and do.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
So it's a movie called RoboCop Returns. It's in development at MGM, of course MGM, because they have like 3 franchises,
Right.
one of which is RoboCop. So this was going to ignore not just the 2014 Joel Kinnaman reboot. It was also going to ignore the 1990 and 1993 sequels to the 1987 movie.
Okay.
So my brain hurts just.
I was gonna say that's a lot to process.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So this is based on a script by Ed Newmar and Michael Meyer that they had written originally for RoboCop 2
Oh, back in the day.
back in the day. Then there was a writer's strike
Okay.
in like 88, 89. So they couldn't do that, right? So that's why RoboCop 2 that came out is written by Frank Miller, the comic book writer, because he was not WGA.
Oh, okay.
See, now you know. So anyway, long story short, so this movie has been in development for a few years, and Neil Blomkamp, who's a big fan of the original, was very vociferous about it. He's like, it's going to be, which this, by the way, Brian, seems vaguely egotistical to me. He's like, it's going to be like sitting in the theater and watching Paul Verhoeven make a sequel to RoboCop 2, to RoboCop.
All right.
Which, like, dude,
Yeah, I mean, it's a, yeah.
I'm not saying you're not talented, Neil, but maybe set the bar a little lower, you know?
Right.
Right? Anyway, so this was just plugging along, and they'd even talked about getting Peter Weller back and the whole thing. And then
As RoboCop?
As RoboCop.
Okay.
Because Neil Blomkamp was like, well, there's only one RoboCop, and that's Peter Weller. And I think Peter Weller was like, I'm 900 years old, leave me alone, you know?
That's what I was thinking.
But here's the thing. There's a second thought to that. I mean, if you put Peter Weller in like a mocap suit,
Okay,
you
sure.
could just CGI that sucker right over him, and I don't think people would even know the difference.
Nah, that's a good point. And you could go with the whole Terminator logic that T-800's age.
Yeah, well, and plus, you see like a third of his face.
Sure. But I mean, if he is part man, part machine, I mean, you know, he's still part man. That's
Part
something
man.
to explore.
Good enough. Anyway, so all of this has been kicking around, and then as of like 2 days ago, Neil Blomkamp's like, I'm out. And nothing has really been said about this except that he's going off to make some horror movie, and he's like, MGM won't wait
For him to get it right.
for
I
him
imagine.
for him to either A, get it right, or B, finish making his movie.
Okay.
Which I'm like, MGM, not for nothing, but what do you mean you won't wait? Like,
Right.
like if there's one reason to make this movie, which I'm not in favor of, I'm like, well, it's Neil Blomkamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you have I mean, he has his hits and misses, but if you have a visionary director who is excited about some sort of vision in his head, yeah, like we've seen what happens when you just kind of poop a RoboCop movie out, right?
Yes, they have pooped many RoboCop movies out.
yeah.
That franchise is mostly poop. There's,
right.
There's very little protein.
Yeah, so it may be worth the wait.
You know, by the way, next year is the 30th anniversary of RoboCop 2.
Oh wow! Two.
I would love to do a commentary track on that one for you, and you have never seen it.
I have never seen it. No.
So I feel like that would make it almost more fun.
Okay.
You coming at it completely cold,
Yeah, I'd be curious.
you know. So with that, let's take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about a different franchise with the word "star" in the title.
Star Search.
All right, Brian, we're back. I hear some music, and this is the first time in a while I've heard this music.
Yeah. We haven't had a whole lot of really worthwhile Star Wars news to talk about lately, but something really exciting happened this week. Fans have been daydreaming about the idea of Ewan McGregor returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ewan McGregor himself has even said that he is interested in something like that, and it turns out It's now official. It's going to happen. We're going to get a Disney Plus series with Ewan McGregor reprising his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's really exciting.
So this is going to be set during the time when he's hanging out on Tatooine.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but I guess it's sort of inevitable. Just he's aged since the prequels. I mean, it's not like you're going to have like a young Obi-Wan series necessarily. Yes. But yeah, it's funny because I'm very excited about this, and you have the guy we all wanted, but that's a lot of pressure to make this good, right? Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people have something in their minds. And this is going to have, I'd say, almost as much as the movies. I mean, I think they could have made a movie out of this, and people would have shown up. So, I don't know. It's a lot of pressure on the storytellers for this one.
I mean, this was in development as a film originally. Okay. Right? Stephen Daldry is going to direct it. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then they kiboshed it because Solo didn't do well.
Right.
Which is stupid. Because, right? I mean, that's dumb because you're like, that's one movie. And you're basically every spin-off that you had in development, you just pull the plug on. That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so this is
this
is going to be 6 to 8 episodes. They're saying.
Yeah, and I was going to say, but on the other hand, I mean, speaking of the Picard thing earlier, it is cool that we're in a time now where we can get these series and they can be just as good as movies. Right? They can look just as impressive. The storytelling can maybe even be better sometimes than some of the movies we get. So I am attracted to the idea of, well, instead of just forcing something into 3 movies over 6 or 8 years, like I would love to see an extended story if it's worth telling. I think it's cool that there's no limits now to the types of stories they can tell of a certain caliber.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even seen anything from The Mandalorian, and I'm already like excited for that.
Me too. I've got a good feeling about it. Could be wrong. I don't know, but it just everything looks right, and Jon Favreau makes me excited. I think he cares. I mean, he's already a great storyteller, but I think he is passionate about Star Wars, and that's exciting.
And I am more excited for The Mandalorian than I would have been for like that Boba Fett spin-off movie that they were supposedly doing.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Remember, I think Josh Trank was doing that at one point, right?
Wow. Yes, you're right.
Remember that?
Seems like such old news. Yeah, you're right.
Right? I mean, to me, it's like, and we've talked about this before, like I've never understood the affinity people have for Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think he's cool. Like, he looks cool. But I'm not one of those people that's sort of obsessed over him.
Right.
Like he's cool flavor in the background.
He looks cool, and people built up like all his badassness, and then George Lucas was like, actually, here's the real story of Boba Fett, and everyone's like, oh God. Oh God.
You're right. Yeah, and then we've sort of talked about this, but then they've sort of boxed in who Boba Fett is, and it limits him. And I don't know that I really care to see his adventures at that clone farm.
Yeah, exactly. So what does The Mandalorian do? They take a character who has the look that we like, and then he has the mystery.
Yep, and the aesthetic and everything that we had. They've almost retconned it in a sort of genius way.
Yeah. And that show is set, between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, right?
Yeah, I think after Return of the Jedi. Exactly.
Okay, so that's kind of cool because you can potentially see the rise of the First Order and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm into it.
Any other Star Wars news?
There was just one other thing, actually. Ryan Johnson.
And by the way, actually, Brian, before you, I hope the Obi-Wan series is called Hello There.
There has to be a moment where he says that, or it's referenced, or I think we've talked about this because I mean, history has shown we were not very kind to the prequels.
Yes,
up until a point, and I think now our attitudes have softened, and we can see them for what they are, and for you especially, I think you can see them through your children's eyes, and
right.
I'm enjoying seeing the fandom sort of reemerge with the kids who grew up with it, and especially I love prequel memes on Instagram. They're some of my favorite things. I send them to you all the time. Like I really they're so creative, and they highlight the most random throwaway lines in the movies, but I know what they're talking about, and they just delight me to no end. So anyway, hello there. I definitely want to see that.
I feel like the Star Wars prequels. I think this can apply to the Star Wars prequels or just any movies in general. Like, I think that you get like 6 months to be pissed off about a movie, and then you got to just let it go.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
That's a good rule of thumb. I think the world, or at least Twitter especially, would be a better place if people could live within that. Yeah.
I think whatever feelings you have, that's fine. Work through it. That's cool. But 6 months, move on.
Yep.
Because the thing you hate is still there. It ain't changing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of Rian Johnson and Star Wars.
Yes. Sorry.
for many people.
That was an unplanned segue, but that worked.
Yeah, but he just did an interview with The Observer, and they asked him about his trilogy. And a lot of people wondered if his trilogy would survive when they were sort of cleaning house, or Lucasfilm is what I mean, and they were reevaluating what they had on their slate. And like you said, we lost a Boba Fett movie because of it, and an Obi-Wan movie, which has been reimagined now as a series. But Rian Johnson was asked about his Star Wars series, and of course he didn't have a whole lot to say about it, because I'm sure he's developing it.
Right.
But he was saying that he sort of liked the idea that it had nothing to do with Skywalkers or anything that's been pre-established. So it's a completely open opportunity to start with something fresh. But in doing that, he says, for him, it's really about figuring out what the essence of Star Wars is for me, and what that will look like moving forward. And that's obviously a very, open-ended, ambiguous quote. But I think he brings up a good point. I mean, when we move forward from here and we do close the Skywalker saga, and we're in sort of a tumultuous point of Star Wars fandom where some people are happy with where it is, some people aren't. I mean, what is Star Wars moving forward from here? And him saying, we got to figure out what the essence of Star Wars is. That's obviously what you would want to strive for, but what does that mean to a lot of different people? I mean, for a lot of people, the essence of Star Wars is the Skywalker saga. These characters.
I'm cautious about that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I'm interested in Star Wars after the Skywalker saga.
I gotta admit, me too. And that doesn't mean I would say I'm any less of a Star Wars fan, because I will love that original trilogy.
Yeah.
As much as I do for the rest of my life. Like, that is baked into the Brian Hall cake.
Right.
My love for those movies. But moving forward, I don't know that I'm going to care as much. I'll still always see it, but I don't know that I'm going to care as much moving forward. And it makes me wonder how much your kids care about Star Wars.
I mean, I've said it. I mean, they like it.
Right.
They absolutely do. But it doesn't occupy their mornings and evenings the way the Marvel Universe does. Mm-hmm. And that sentiment, I can say, applies not just to my kids, because they're my kids, but I see it across the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Marvel's going to get there, too.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's Marvel's going to be the Woody one of these days.
Right.
That just has to happen. But I don't know. I think that it might not be a bad idea to just hit pause on movies for the time being. Mm-hmm. And do these Disney Plus shows and mine whatever areas of the. I mean, do Solo on Disney Plus.
I think that would be a great idea.
Maybe that would have been the best idea in the first place. It wouldn't have had the weight of expectations.
Yeah,
that's just with the benefit of hindsight. But just kind of let the movie sit and then come back with a new episode like 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. Not this trilogy and that trilogy. Just continue the saga.
Yeah, find a story worth telling versus scrambling for a story to tell.
Right, which kind of feels like what they did here.
Yes. Yeah, and it was recently reported that Lucasfilm is looking to produce non-Star Wars related movies soon. So, I mean, Lucasfilm, it's not like they're going to have nothing to do while they're waiting to find the right story.
Sure. Well, and supposedly we still have another Indiana Jones coming, so. There
I
is
keep
that.
forgetting about that.
Which, yeah, I think everyone but Harrison Ford is forgetting about that.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
man.
But I think that wraps up our Star Wars news, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah, this was a fun just chit-chat with you.
I always enjoy the opportunity to shoot the breeze, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Folks, if you have any questions or comments about anything we've talked about, you can hit like on our Facebook page and message us there, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. You can also email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram. You can also read my reviews at the San Francisco Chronicle. And Brian, what are you up to?
I'm still writing for Puppy Dog Pals, which airs on Disney and Disney Junior.
Well, there we go. And so that is Movie Film 178, but we'll be back soon with our next episode as well as our next commentary. I hope you will catch us next time. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and